Hi everyone, I'm Daniel from Magique. I would like to thank you for tuning into this video. This is the first of more to come. At Magique, we are passionate about stress and pain relief. So we thought it would be a good idea to bring you our community, some content that could inspire you and hopefully bring some positivity during this time. Our first guest is creativity coach, Stefano Di Lollo. Hi Stefano, thank you for being with us today.
My pleasure.
So if you could introduce yourself to our guest, you do many things. So
absolutely.
How are you, Stefano?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well under the circumstances. And I think it's great that we have this platform where we can, reach out to each other, but also to the community. I am a lot of people refer to me as a creativity coach. Actually, what I am is a personal and executive coach. I'm the Chief Creative Officer at Papillon MDC, which is a company that focuses on executive coaching and leadership development. But of course, my passion also lies in creativity and in innovation. And I spend a lot of my time helping teams, more specifically helping leaders transform their teams into happy, motivated, idea-making machines. But of course, under the circumstances, many of those teams have been separated and many people are self-isolating and quarantined with their families. So, of course, now I'm also helping individuals within the new context, within this new reality. And of course, we're still working in teams. We're just kind of maybe separated, but we're still connected. And so I'm still helping teams and individuals simultaneously. And I think we all need to be united right now and help each other out. So I'm really glad that, we're doing this today.
And I can agree with you more. I know right now everyone's adjusting and everyone's going from a moment in which you are going to the office and you're talking with everyone, and now this is moving to a chat room. This is moving to an e-meeting similar to the one that we're having right now. Absolutely. And it's been difficult for some people, and I think there is also many positive things that we can get out of this, and hopefully we'll get to talk about them through this video. We reached out to our community and we decided to ask them what they would like to know. So if you don't mind me starting with one of our first question is
Absolutely.
From Jennifer from Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, my question for Stefano is, what are the ways in which someone can get creative while working from home?
It's a great question. There is nothing I love talking about more than creativity. And of course, so now we are in this situation where we're trying to be productive. We're juggling many things at the same time. We're still trying to get our work done. We may have kids in the picture. And so now the question is, how do we stay creative? Or how do we start being creative? Now, it's my fundamental belief that as human beings, we are all creative by default. And I never actually see a moment where we're not being creative. I think step number one is to frame the problem or the goal that you're looking to be creative at. Because I think you need to start and saying, okay, well, what's my intention? What do I want to be creative doing? And I think you need to frame that goal. And by framing, I just mean identifying what is it that you think, you could be more creative at. And I often think it starts with being able to say, okay, well, my problem is when I'm at work, I have a hard time being organized. I'm just giving an example here. I know everybody has their own situations. But let's say that is a problem. And it's like, so now the question could be, okay, how can I be more creative now that I'm at home and I'm a little disconnected from the workplace? How can I think about this so that I can be more creative? And so I think as a first step, you need to kind of frame that. And what I like to do when I frame something is I actually make a mind map of some sort or a concept map. And it doesn't even have to be something that's map related, but the idea here is that I visually document it, write it down, make a doodle. You can even leave yourself a voice recording. And then you kind of have to either post it up somewhere where it's in sight. And what you're doing here is you're actually irritating your mind. because you've defined the problem and now you've put it in full view, and you don't have to solve it instantly. What you want to do is you want to expose yourself to something and keep being exposed to it. And what's happening when your mind is cognitively irritated, you're actually working on this even when you don't realize that you're working on it. So as a first step, quite literally just saying, okay, well, I know I need to work on this. And maybe the start is making a list of all the things that you feel are problematic or that are goals that you want to improve on. And so right there, you're already framing your problem. You're putting it in sight. I really believe in out of sight, out of mind. So, step one, you put it into your vision. Now, there are other things you can do. You could decide, yeah, go ahead.
Very quickly, I
Sure.
think that would be one of the benefits from working from home that you can have, that you wouldn't have at the office. Maybe at the office, it's not quite the right space to put all of your vulnerabilities on the sight of everyone. So maybe if you're at home and you have that for yourself, maybe it's a good time now to deal with that in a space in which you feel safe, in a space in which you feel 100% comfortable. And maybe that you will bring that, once this is all over, you will bring that into the office space.
I love that you just highlighted that. You're right. In public areas, in public environments, you may not feel as comfortable putting some of those things in view. And I'm a real fan of these things, these Post-its. I usually have many of them everywhere at all times. And of course, now what you could do is you could just post it and you could put it on your wall. It's temporary. You could take it down. You could change them. You could post other ones on top. And so I love that you said that. You're right. You can be a lot more vulnerable within your own space. And you can use your space as a lot more of a visual thinking ground there to kind of catalyze some of these thoughts that we have.
So we can segue into our next question is from Charlotte, who's asking, what is an easy and fun creative activity to do after work to let go of that stress?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we can we can integrate creativity in our day-to-day as we're working, but some people look to creativity to, I think, disconnect. And in the situation that we're now in, of course, there's probably even more reason to disconnect, to get away from the news, to get away from the emails, to get away from maybe some of the things that, otherwise cause us a little bit of anxiety. And so it's very difficult for me to come up with a one-size-fits-all solution, like do this and it'll ease your anxiety. But what I will say is, the first thing you need to think of is, what already brings me joy? What already works for me? So for example, for myself, I find that there is therapy in, painting. And I'm quite artistic, but I'm not a painter by any means. But just the idea of taking a canvas and applying paint, even if I don't quite have an idea of what I'm putting on there yet, but just the process of kind of putting the paint on, it can kind of work for me. So for me, that might be something that works. You could decide that you're going to be creative by hosting virtual dinners with your family, where everybody's eating, but no one's actually face-to-face if you live further from each other. And now's also a great time to just pick that one thing that you wanted to do but never have had time for. So I mentioned painting, and I actually have one right here that I started a while ago. It doesn't look like much yet, and it's because I've never made time for it. I'm always stuck with my day-to-day, so it's always like, well, I'll do it when I have time. And of course, well, we have a little bit more time at our disposal. Maybe not as much as we'd like to think, but the commute alone is time-consuming sometimes for work, and now at least we have a little bit more of that time. And I know that people have different scenarios, and that some people have children, so some people may not even feel like they have time. But I think we can manage our time so that we make just a bit more time for some of the things that ordinarily we just shoo away.
Well, and I like that you mentioned kids, because we have Lynn, who asked us, how do you recommend balancing being at home with the kids while still working from home?
Yeah, it's a great question. And again, I can't give an answer that will satisfy everybody's needs or everybody's context, because of course we have children with different backgrounds, different ages, different scenarios. Some are partially studying still and some aren't. But what I could say is, from what I've been hearing a lot of, is parents who are saying, it is just difficult because I'm trying to get my work done and my children keep kind of coming around and wanting attention, which is normal. And one of the powerful elements of creativity is ownership and kind of having control over what you're going to be creative at. So I think an important part is to make a bit of a plan, have a bit of a schedule. And again, I'm a big advocate for something that's very visual. I'll actually show you my schedule. I actually have a very visual format, but making your children a part of creating that schedule. So mommy and daddy may have to work between this time and this time, but your children, it would be great if they get to decide what they're doing while mommy and daddy is working. Maybe, they feel like they have an important role too, something that will kind of occupy and entertain. And I think we need a little bit, maybe more flexibility. And rather than saying, well, mommy and daddy are working from 9 to 5, I think there's room for having some flexibility and some break times that are
maybe 10:15 to 10:30 is, I don't know, like karaoke break.
Exactly.
Right? And then you take some time with your kids and you sing a song and you get some of that, I think, just like energy that kids have like penned up and like it's so evident, and you get them to take it out there for a moment and to share some time with you as well.
Yeah, and what's great is it's actually therapeutic also for the individual working, because you do need a bit of a brain break as well. They say that your mind can only stay focused for about 90 minutes until it needs something to kind of change things up. And also, it allows your children not to be just waiting for you to finish this kind of time slot. They know there's something to look forward to, which is why I love the visual. I'll show you, I actually love to create visual calendars. So these are my visual calendars, and I just go through, I like 6 months. I actually take the time, not everybody has this time, to make them decorative and to change them with themes. And I just keep them up at all times. And if your children have something to come up to and refer to, it's a lot more fun because it's offering them also a sense of structure and control in a time where we feel like there's not that much structure and control. They may need it more than we do to feel that things are actually still being planned and we're okay.
Thank you so much for all of this lovely information and to take the time to talk with us, to talk with me today. And, I hope that our community finds all the value that they need from this. And, we will be creating more segments like this. And we would like to, reach out to if there's anyone out there who is doing something that they think it's interesting during this time and they think it would be nice to talk about, reach out to us and maybe we can do another video chat either through Facebook Premiere like we're doing it right now, or if we're doing it through an Instagram Live. Make sure to like this video and to, put any comments and questions that you have, and we'll do our best to answer them.
Absolutely. Thank you again, Daniel. I'll
Thank
see you
you
soon.
very much.
And hang in there, everybody. Send me your questions in the meantime.
Okay. Goodbye.